question of the day today, as we record the Chin Music Baseball Show here at TalkNorth.com, is, do the Twins actually have the makings of a bullpen? Let's ask our specialists here today. Roy Smalley, former Twins All-Star and former Twins broadcaster. LaVelle Neal III, Star Tribune baseball writer and columnist. This is TalkNorth.com. If you like the show or any shows of the network, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen, and we do appreciate it. Let's get right to it. LaVelle, break down the recent moves that have added some interesting arms to this bullpen and tell us just how you think they set up at this point.
Yeah, interesting is a good word for that, Jim, just because of the guys they brought back. And suddenly they've got a lot of veteran arms in that bullpen. I think Cody Funderburk, is probably the least experienced guy out of that group. They got Cole Sands, and they already had Justin Topa. But now they signed Taylor Rogers, left-hander, who used to close here. Very effective guy. His sinker is down about 2 to 3 miles an hour, though. So we have to see how he's going to be able to work around that. Then they had just acquired Anthony Banda from the Dodgers for international pool money. Banda, it looks like he has figured things out. He just added a wipeout slider in the last couple of years or so, and it served him well. He ended up pitching in like 70 games last year, 3.18 ERA, so, but the thing is with him, he still has to find out an effective pitch to get right-handers out. And then brought back a second familiar face in our buddy Liam Hendricks, the Australian who, rose to prominence as a closer for the White Sox, saved 38 games one year. He's battled injuries. He did not pitch at all, in 2024. And I believe in last year, he only pitched in like 15 or 20 games. That's because of injuries. So it's going to be, I take that back. He's only pitched in 14 games last year, 19 games if you include 2023. So he's got to improve his health, and we have to see how effective he can be. If these guys can turn back the clock a couple of years and discover, form from that time, it could be a workable bullpen. I'm skeptical. I get nervous because of, Liam's 37 now, and he's had injury problems. Taylor Rogers, another mid-30s guy, and I just mentioned his sinker sinker speed is down. I like Banda. I like the Banda addition. I believe he's like 31, 32. Before all this happened, the Twins were telling me that Cole Sands was going to be the closer. I don't see Cole as a closer type either, so I'm still curious to see who's going to work the ninth inning, and maybe a committee thing a little bit. Can it work? I think it can be effective. It's not going to be a lights-out bullpen. It definitely doesn't have the firepower and the raw stuff that last year's group did, but it's something that could be functional.
We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services. We also want to thank Minnesota Masonic Charities and Onyx Hunt and Onyx Maps. We'll tell you more about our sponsors later on. Before we get to Roy's view of the bullpen, LaVelle, explain the Banda thing to me. They basically got a guy who looks like a really valuable left-handed arm for almost nothing.
Yeah, it didn't say how much international money, pool money that the Twins send the Dodgers, but the Dodgers had designated Banda for assignment, and that's just because, those guys keep adding arms and signing people and trading people and paying Edwin Diaz $20 million a year. There's no room for in the end anymore for someone who's halfway decent like Banda. So, last year, like I say, he pitched in 71 games, had a 3.18 ERA, 8.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. Looks like he keeps the ball in the park very well. Just 1.1 home runs per 9 innings. He immediately goes into the late inning mix. Maybe he gets a chance to see if he can close a little bit. The Twins have not been afraid of having left-handed closers, going back to your close personal friend Eddie Guardado and going through Taylor Rogers. So they've got lefties now with Rogers and Banda and Funderburk to throw at, and I'm a little bummed out because my sleeper guy Connor Pralip looks like he may be in the mix later than sooner, which I was kind of hoping he would flash enough in spring to get a shot here, but I don't know if that's possible. But it depends on, I don't know how much international pool money was spent here, but it was enough to get Banda, and that it's probably the most noteworthy bullpen arm that the Twins have added during the offseason.
Roy, what do you see when you see this bullpen now? Does this group have a chance?
Well, I think the Banda addition really plussed it up. I do. I have liked his arm every time I've seen him pitch for the Dodgers. I think LaVelle is right. I think it was just a numbers game. I mean, when a team can give up an arm like Banda, and especially a left-handed arm, you know how loaded they are, right? I mean, that wasn't this guy can't do it. That was we got other guys, and he out of options, and we have to DFA him. So I think it's a good pickup by the Twins that are for whatever they spent, and I think it improves the bullpen immediately. Jury's out on Taylor Rogers, but I think he'll be competitive from the left side. I think Liam Hendricks is kind of a long shot, but what the heck? Give him a chance, because before he started getting hurt, that arm was that stuff was real good too. So yeah, I think it's better. I think here's what I actually think of the bullpen. If they had a closer, and you look at Banda and Cole Sands in the 8th, or 7th and 8th kind of innings, then I really like the bullpen. So I mean, we'll wait and see how they pitch the 9th inning and where we go from here. And we're not talking about, to LaVelle's point, any of the young arms that might emerge later in the season as bullpen guys and kind of work their way into hopeful stardom, kind of like the young man they sent to Toronto, which I hated to see that
Barland,
see that happen. So yeah, so I mean, maybe there is someone like that in the minor leagues, on the verge. But if not, in the meantime, they're a little bit better than they were going into the season with the arms they have out there.
So now let's look at the rotation.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say, now look at the rotation. Is there a pecking order, LaVelle, for who's going to get the first shot for those 4th and 5th spots in the rotation, and which of the young arms might be most likely to head to the bullpen at some point?
Yeah, I was actually thinking along those lines, because I was about to point out that there's rumblings that they're going to move the one kid, Marco Rea, into the bullpen, and he's got a live arm. But I saw him pitch in spring training, and I saw him pitch once for the Saints, and both times he almost walked the entire batting order. So he's got to figure out his control a little bit. But when you look at the Twins rotation, it's Pablo Lopez, it's Joe Ryan, it's Bailey Over. The back end, Simeon Woods Richardson is a survivor, man. He figures out ways to kind of stick around. So, then you've got one spot, and you've got David Festa, and you've got Zebby Matthews. I would like to see both those guys remain as starters. But then you got people like Todd Bradley and the kid they got from the Phillies Mick Abel. Could one of those guys end up being converted to a bullpen guy? I don't know. It's possible. But it's going to be a battle royale for that last spot or two in that bullpen. And I mean, I'm considering Simeon a lock for the rotation.
Really?
Partially because he's been effective, and he's also out of options. Remember the old saying is that the best players don't make teams. The ones that are sometimes are out of options do. He could be in that mode, but at the same time, someone could outpitch, Simeon, and the Twins have enough starting inventory in addition to, switching a couple guys to the bullpen, they could trade Simeon and get an asset back. So there's a lot of options that the Twins have. And, a year ago when he made all these moves and gutted the roster, you're looking at the Twins with 7 or 8 viable starting pitching candidates. And you got guys like Andrew Morris who are knocking on the door to the majors, but now he's back to like 8th or 9th in the pecking order. They got options and flexibility to convert or deal.
Roy, what do you think about Simeon Woods Richardson? Is given his stuff, The way he handles up on the mound, do you see him as a future starter or a reliever?
I don't see him as a reliever.
Okay.
I can't really give you a reason why, other than he's a 4-pitch pitcher, none of which pitches are just lights out. Come out of the bullpen and say, I got these two, and you're going to have a hard time hitting these two I got. He's got 4 of them that are all, in my view, kind of the same, and in terms of electricity, right? In terms of opening hitters' eyes or not. And I think what he does really well as a starter, first of all, I mean, I guess the biggest thing he does really well is consistently go out there and give you 5 innings, exit after 5 innings with a chance to win the game, right? He has trouble in the 6th. He has, because that stuff, I wouldn't characterize any of this, the stuff as a whole, or any of the individual pitches as electric. He's kind of figured out what his stuff is and how he has to pitch and how he has to mix it around. And he's pretty good with location consistently. And I think that's why he goes 5 innings pretty well, because he can spot his fastball in on hitters, make them think about that a little bit, throw the off-speed stuff to the opposite corner, locate that, pretty well. So I don't see that description of a pitcher as a reliever. That's just my own personal bias, I guess. I see that description of a guy's stuff as starter, and can he just continue to get more and more consistent with location? If he can, I mean, it has been pretty consistent with Simeon that for 4 innings, real good, 5th inning, start to see that his location, he just starts going 2-0 and 3-1 a little bit, and pretty consistently. But by the 5th inning, it's like when he really needs to throw that fastball on one of the corners that he was doing the first 3 and 2/3 innings or 4 innings or whatever. All of a sudden he misses and he's 2-0, or he misses down the middle and someone nails it. And I think that I think that's his, that's where he's on the cusp of whether he can extend his location into the 6th inning better than he's done to this point. Because through 4 and a lot of times through 5, you got to hand it to him. He walks off the mound, having given it, keeping his team close. Let's put it that way.
I have one more question about the pecking order and the pitching staff, and also questions about first base. Let's get to those next. First, I want to let you know we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. It's 2026 and time to fix your problem water. Time to enjoy spotless dishes, softer skin, cleaner laundry, and say goodbye to funny taste and odors. Upgrade today and enjoy no payments and no interest for 6 months on a new high-efficiency Connecticut water treatment system. Schedule your free water test at AquariusHomeservices.com. Financing based on credit approval. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Also want to tell you, now that things are starting to thaw a little bit, tell you about OnX Fish. The Fish app offers the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your success. Use the Fish app to find new places to fish and sort lakes by species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potential. OnX Fish also shows you hot spots, lake by lake regulations, and private and public land ownership information. Download OnX Fish on the App Store or go to onxmaps.com/fish to get more information about the app that is changing the game. All right, gentlemen, let's start with LaVelle here. Who do you think is more likely to be a solid or impactful major league starting pitcher right now, Zebby or Festa?
Ooh, I want to say Zebby because I love his stuff. I love the fastball and his other pitches, and he throws like 5 pitches. I think he's been working on a 6. But I think if you look at David Festa, he's made some strides here. To the point where, he looks like he's trying to figure some things out. I mean, that's actually a really good question, to try to tackle. It's a good question, actually. But, part of me wants to says Zebby, but if you're asking me to put, write something down in ink, I'm going to write David Festa stuff. I'm seeing some progress in him, in recent years. I know the numbers don't look right. He had a 5.40 ERA in 11 games. And the strikeout rate wasn't as good as it was when he debuted in 2024. But it just seems like he's a little more, it looks like he's got some more pitchability right now that may put him a tad in front of Zebby. But long term, I think Zebby's the more talented guy.
What do you think, Roy?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good analysis by LaVelle. I would look at it a little bit more subjectively, and that is, I look at Zebby's stuff and I really like it. When I first couple of times I saw it, I really like his stuff. Throw strikes all the time. He's got a pretty good fastball. He's got all the pitches that LaVelle's talking about, and then I watch him pitch, and I'm not. There have been occasions where he looked kind of dominant, like he looked like he was really confusing or frustrating or impressing hitters. But there's a part of my stomach that says, okay, I think we've pretty much seen what Zebby has, right? I don't think he's going to throw any harder. I don't, LaVelle says he got a 6th pitch. I don't care about number of pitches. I care about 4 really good ones. He seems to have that. I've seen it there. He throws them all for strikes. And yet he just hasn't consistently made hitters look really uncomfortable to me. And I wonder why that is. With Festa, it looks to me like, similar to Simeon, he's got a fastball that really kind of brings hitters up short a little bit. I mean, he can make them flinch a little bit on fastballs inside because he's got a nice slider to right-hand hitters. He's got a decent changeup to left-hand hitters. And so when he pitches inside or up to either side of the plate, and then because they're thinking about the other complementary thing to the outside part of the plate, the fastball stands them up a little bit. And again, like Simeon, it's been a question of consistent location into the 6th inning for Festa, it seems to me like. So it's a real narrow margin, isn't it, between Festa and Zebby? And what I'm saying is so subjective. And not say I point to this stuff or that stuff. And it's, I don't really know which is better. I can't figure out right now in my gut what Zebby's going to do to make hitters more uncomfortable, because I think we've seen what he has. And so I don't know. That's a long-winded way of saying I don't have a clue. I like both of their stuff. I tend to like Zebby's stuff better, but I'm confused. It's a head scratcher to me why that good of stuff that he's throwing around the plate all the time hasn't been more immediately effective, and that bothers me.
Yeah, interesting. All right, one more baseball topic before we get to our Booze and Blues segment. First base / DH. How are they going to fill those at bats? Is Bell a DH? Is he a first baseman? Is he a full-time first baseman? Are they going to kind of cycle people through those two spots? What do you think, LaVelle?
I think Josh is going to play, because I don't think Josh played a lot of first base last year, right? I think he DH'd a lot. I think there's a chance he may play a little bit more at first base, just based on who they have available to play the position. I'm guessing Cody Clemens is going to get some play there too. And who's the other cat? Is it the catcher that plays first base? Is it Caratini? Is that his name? Right? Yeah, he's in the mix as well. So, I mean, they got options. I think because you don't have a standout performer at first base, I would let Josh have it, to be honest with you. And if you need, just for lineup flexibility, you need to use him at DH a few times. You can go ahead and take that route. But they definitely don't have a Gold Glover over there. They don't have a Carlos Santana level first baseman there. And actually Ty France was halfway decent at first last year. He just couldn't hit. My guess is that Josh has got a chance to play about 70, 75 games at first, maybe. With help from a cast of thousands. That's what I'm thinking of right now.
Would you go ahead.
I think LaVelle's right on. I mean, I was going to say, if you'd come to me first, I was going to say it's Josh Bell's to lose defensively, right? I mean, I think they put him out there every day. and he stays there pretty much the whole time, and until Derek Shelton says, "Okay, I can't stand that anymore. I can't stand watching it every day. Maybe half the time." I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen Josh Bell defensively enough. I know LaVelle thinks he's just average, but or below.
I think he's below average, probably.
Okay, so it really then my point is my point. I mean, but I think he starts there, and the whole thing will be hitting matchups against the starting pitcher.
Yeah,
right. I mean, there'll be some times that if they got a guy like Clemens that they think can play first base reasonably well, and there's a right-handed pitcher starting, and now it's time to move Josh to DH and let the left-handed hitting Clemens play first because they think he's a little better over there. Because if Clemens turns out to be okay at first base, then they start a right-handed pitcher, and you say, well, I'm going to have Bell and Clemens in the lineup. Who's going to play where? And probably the best defensive first baseman wins. And the same thing will be, the other with the other. I don't know the other man the other player that you mentioned, Caratini, or
he's a catcher who can play some first base and hit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but with him, I think it's all about bat, right?
Yeah.
And if he, he's going to have to hit left-handers really, really well, or else, Josh Bell's just going to get all the right-handed at bats. And I just don't think, to LaVelle's point, I just don't think there are enough options over there at first base that that Josh Bell's not going to play an awful lot. It'd be hard for me to say, okay, Caratini and Clemens are going to platoon at first base, and Josh Bell's going to be DH. And then you go, okay, well, neither one of those guys have played an awful lot of first base, so how good defensively is that going to be anyway, right? I mean, if they're only playing, half the time, trying to get better at it. So I don't know. I think it's again back to LaVelle. It's going to be a revolving door. I kind of think they break the gate with Josh Bell at first and see how he does.
That makes the most sense to me. All right, let's get to our Booze and Blues segment.
Hey, I've got before we get there, I've got one thing I just want to mention. I want to publicly thank a young man who stopped me. I was in line downtown getting a protein enhanced salad one day, and a young man turned around, looked at me, and said, "Hey, I just have to tell you, I'm listening." He had his headphones in. He said, "I'm listening to Chin Music right now," and he said, "I love it. It's the best. It's by far the best baseball podcast there is." He said, "I've listened to all of them." He said, "I love all the insights." And so I just want to thank. He didn't give me his name. We didn't talk a lot. We were busy getting lunch, but thought it was really nice for him to stop me and say that. And we sure appreciate the kind words.
I really appreciate Tom Polad taking the time to stop you and have that conversation.
I think I would recognize Tommy.
Yeah, you probably would have. Okay, let's get to our Booze and Blues segment. Either of you guys have something hot? If not, I'll start it off.
I want to bring this up because I've had this bourbon at home for a while, and I never opened a bottle. and I finally sampled it yesterday, and it's pretty good. I know you guys are probably familiar with the Four Roses franchise of bourbons, because they've got the regular one, and they have the small batch. They have the single barrel, which I really like. But the one I had never tried until last week was the small batch select. I tasted it, and it was wonderful. It's smooth. It's fruity. It's 104 proof, so it's got a little octane to it. But just a lot of flavor and really smooth. I really enjoyed it. Definitely you can drink it neat. You can try a little ice with it. I'm usually not a big ice person. But if you're out there, looking for some bourbon, you want to try something that's really, really nice, really smooth. That guy has a lot of flavor. The Four Roses, small barrel select is excellent. I really enjoyed it, and it gets my seal of approval.
All righty. Here's my confession. I'm in the car. If I'm not listening to Chin Music, I'm listening to music, and I have Sirius XM for long car rides, and they have a yacht rock channel, and I kind of like it.
Oh no.
Yeah. And listen, I love the Springs.
You want to make that confession public? Come on.
I'm going to do it. I'm being brave here. I love the Springsteen channel. I love the Petty channel. I love the U2 channel. John Mayer now has a channel, which is really more diverse than you would think. Chris Stapleton has a channel that's all over the map, and I love it. There's a soul food channel, great R&B and Motown stuff. There's just amazing number of great channels. But one of my presets is Yacht Rock, because while every once in a while you get the lame Christopher Cross song, you also get Steely Dan. You also get and you get Boz Scaggs. You get some great music that has been classified yacht rock, whether it should be or not.
It's really true. I just wanted to give you a bunch of crap.
I know
about the genre. I actually made a yacht rock list on my iTunes on my phone, and Steely Dan kind of dominates that. So you're right. You get and Boz Scaggs. There's some really listenable Jackson Browne. There's some stuff that is classified yacht rock that it works really, really well for get-togethers, because it's music that everybody kind of knows and kind of can be listening to, and it doesn't, because I made the list and I decide what's yacht rock, it doesn't make me crazy. But right. I do agree with you. There's some really good stuff occasionally on that.
So it's channel 15. It looks like.
Radio?
Pardon me?
Is that Satellite
Radio? Yeah, Sirius XM. It's on channel 15.
Channel 15. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. Oh, before we go, one other small thing too. When we were talking about first baseman, I forgot the Twins did make a deal with the Marlins for Eric Wagga.
Oh, right.
Who actually played 140 games last year for the Marlins and does play first base. He's a right-handed hitter, so that could balance out against. Although Josh Bell's a switch hitter, but it gives Shelty another option when the lefty's on the mound. Well, he played 140 games last year, so he's got a first base experience. So he definitely would be in the mix.
Just play Josh Bell over every day and give him an extra large glove.
Yes. I like the fact. I like that, because I think that Cody Clemens can be effective, during the course of the season as a left-handed hitter. If this fellow from the Marlins can hit left-handed pitching from the right side and play first base, and that's that gets a little better. I really like the Josh Bell pickup just because he's an experienced big league hitter. He's a switch hitter, and you can throw him the DH, put him right in the middle of the lineup, and say, okay, now we're gonna work around that depending on who the pitcher is. I like that flexibility. It's you haven't picked up a future Hall of Fame slugger there, but he's a professional big league hitter, and he's gonna do some good things. But having him in the middle lineup as a switch hitter is pretty good.
Good stuff, gentlemen. That was fun. I think we're off next week. We will return late February to catch up on what's happening at training camp. Also highly recommend reading Bobby Nightingale's work in the Star Tribune. Excellent reporter and great guy who works for the Star Tribune. And he's down there cranking away down there. You want to read the Star Tribune to see what he has to say. Other than that, thanks to Roy. Thanks to LaVelle. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. And thanks to everyone who helps us out at TalkNorth.com.